Good morning. Welcome to day one of 21 Days of Spiritual Success. I'm so excited to be here. I hope that you are joining me today. So, my name is Monica Reyes, and I will be bringing you through this journey of 21 days developed to bring you small shifts to create big change. So today I want to talk about the spiritual journey. So you are already on a spiritual journey, whether you believe it or not. And realizing that you're on this journey is probably one of the most empowering and important things that can happen. So for me, so really this journey usually starts off with some sort of realization, and it starts off with maybe a loss or maybe a dream or a message. Something shakes up your life, right? It's something radical happens, and then you're like, oh my God, there's got to be a better way, or like this cannot be life. So for me, my personal story, for you entrepreneurs out there, you know that the first year of business is not easy. So when I first started my law firm, my first year was very, very, very difficult. I basically started from nothing. I started with one client, and I didn't have any business experience at all. And it was just very, very hard. And I just wasn't in the best place spiritually, mentally. I wasn't as strong as I am today. So it absolutely wasn't an easy journey. I found myself broke. I found myself drinking a lot. I was fighting with my boyfriend, who's now my husband. And I just wasn't in a good place. I was ruining relationships left and right. I was fearful. I had a lot of self-sabotaging behavior, and I didn't see it. I was unaware. And at some point I got pushed into a corner and into a place where I couldn't move, and there just wasn't any other place to go but up. It was like I had hit rock bottom, where I just couldn't, at some point, couldn't even pay my bills. I was borrowing money from my poor mom, who's, on disability, and just to help me pay for groceries. And I was like, this isn't the way that I'm supposed to be living at this point, right? I'm in my 30s, and I'm supposed to already be taken. My law firm should have already been taken off. I had all these dreams of where I would be, and I was nowhere close to where I wanted to be. So I prayed. And at that point in my life, I didn't really have much of this relationship. I wasn't very spiritual. In fact, I didn't even know if I believed in God or the universe or anything. I kind of lost it along the way. But I didn't know what else to do, and something inside me said, pray. And so I did. I prayed, and I prayed for a better way. And a message came to me. A book actually was given to me through a friend, and it was called The Power of Love. It was actually the sequel to The Secret, which you're probably familiar with. And this book was all about love, about using the power of love, using the power of gratitude, using your heart chakra to meditate and manifest. And so that was actually my very, real beginning of like meditation practice. And so within a week, I was able to manifest a $25,000 check from a personal injury case I had referred to a very long time ago. A couple of years ago, I completely forgot about it. And it was somebody I met in a random parking lot, obviously not so random. But I got a call back from this person saying, hey, you've got to check on me. And that really saved my life. And from then on, I just never stopped. I continued my meditation practice, but that was the beginning of my realization of this spiritual journey and my awareness of it. And the more meditation I did, the more I started to look into this spirituality, the more I realized, wow, there's something really to this, and like the life really isn't the way that I thought it was. I was actually at first very disappointed and kind of in disbelief that I didn't know any of this, that I didn't know that any of this existed because I was unaware. And then, but once you start it, the speed really does, it really does pick up speed, and and you really start to shift on a rapid level. So this realization of being on this journey is also, this first step is also called the call to adventure in the hero's journey. So a hero's journey is a pattern of narrative identified by this American scholar, Joseph Campbell. He identified this hero's journey, and it's found in drama, in storytelling, in psychological development, and it describes this typical adventure of this archetype called the hero. And so it's this journey that, what he also realizes, not only is this pattern found in myths and in all these other different places, but it's also found in our life. in human development and in our path through enlightenment. And so this first step is called basically, it's actually you're in your ordinary life, and then you get this call to adventure, this radical shift. And then most people during this time, because it's a very fearful, scary place, we refuse the call. And I know that I've had others sort of called to adventures, and I've absolutely refused it, because it's easier to just keep doing what you're doing. It's easier to just keep, being unaware, because it's not an easy thing to face your greatest fears. It's not easy to face yourself, especially if you don't love who you are right now. For me, my personal story, I didn't love who I was. I was very fearful. I had a huge wall. I mean, that was like what I was known for, was like nobody could get in. I know, who are you? I'd love to get to know who you are, but I have no idea, because I had a huge wall, which came to me from various experiences, inherited, from my family. I have a family of a lot of abuse and so forth. So not my family, but, inherited wise. And so you do inherit a lot of that. And so I had I was ruining relationships, and I had, like I said, like a lot of self-limiting beliefs, a lot of self-sabotaging behavior. And it was easier for me to just sort of avoid it. I remember at one point I even said, like, I don't need relationships. They're not for me. I mean, who needs them? And because it was easier to just like shun people away and be alone and be a hermit, versus allowing people to get in, because I was scared. I didn't, what if they didn't like me? What if they didn't, because I didn't know who I was. I didn't like who I was. So of course, like, I was going to have this fear of judgment and fear of people not liking me, because I felt the same way about myself. So I refused it, but eventually, when it got to the point where I needed to find it, where I needed to answer the call, I did. And so this is the place of acknowledging the fact that you are going to face some fears. You might not like who you see in the mirror, but this is the key. This is the key to the spiritual journey. This is the key. So once you are able to do that, what happens now is you want to do a lot of self-reflection, because this is where the work begins, is realizing who you are and observing who you are, but in order to do that, because like we're creatures of like go, technology, Facebook, social media, 9 to 5, I gotta work, I gotta do this, I'm a mom, and so I'm constantly juggling a lot. So it's so much easier, sometimes you just get into the grind, into the hustle of your everyday life, and you don't have those moments of silence, you don't have those moments of just being, you don't have those moments of observing. When I just recently finished my 6-month group, my coaching, we have a 6-month group coaching program, and one of the first comments of like, when I told them everything that I do, of this like observation and like looking for signs and looking, figuring, sorry about that, looking about who you are, the first comment was, oh my God, that's going to take so much time. Oh my God, like, who has time for that? And when you start to practice this though, you do it naturally. I do it naturally. And that's the thing. It just really does come natural, and it becomes a part of your day. It doesn't have to be something extra. And granted, yes, I do, have to I journal at night, or, if there's something that comes to me, like I'll sit and think about it. But the reward of doing that is so great, because you learn who you are, and you also slow your life down, and you realize, so like, it's like, I don't have time for this. That's probably the biggest complaint, or the biggest comment I have, of like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to be spiritual. I don't have time to take this journey. I don't have time to reflect. I don't have time for any of that. But meditation and doing this slows time down. I mean, when I first had a daughter, I have a 3-year-old, and it was like, slow down. They grow up so fast, like, it's going to flash before your eyes. She's going to be 20 before your eyes. I can tell you that these last 3 years have been the longest 3 years ever, because I've been meditating and I'm able to be present. And when you're present, you really savor that moment, right? So imagine normally you're like flying by the moment, zipping through the moment, and the moment's gone. You never really savor it. You never really, you're never really there. You're already off to the next one. So of course time flies by, but when you're present, it doesn't. When you're present, you actually savor it. So the moments are actually longer. So this week, or today, today's exercise is going to be to just be. So today, what if you just, instead of like struggling, instead of like, wanting, instead of like striving, what if you just were to be today? So that's today's exercise, is to just be, to observe, to reflect, taking a few minutes throughout the day. And you might need a reminder, because like that's not something that we normally do. And I know I work a lot. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm constantly working. I'm always doing. My mind needs to be stimulated, which is why for me, meditation was so powerful and important, because I'm on the go. I'm already like, I could barely, this is new for me, being able to like speak, because I would stutter even, because I was already thinking. My mind is going really, really fast, but meditation has allowed me to slow down. So now it's just this like flow. Okay. So today you can remind yourself, set a reminder just every few hours or every hour even, 1 minute of silence, 1 minute of observation, 1 minute of reflection, 1 minute of breath. Okay. So closing our eyes, just breathing, being silent, and observing ourselves, and just being with ourselves without doing anything else. Just allowing yourself, giving yourself me time. This is so important, and you have no idea the rewards that you're gonna get just by doing this short, small practice. And you just have to do it for today, okay? Because today we're gonna have another practice tomorrow. So today I just want you to be. And maybe another thing that you can do after this call or after this video is, how about set an intention? What do you want today to look at? A lot of times we are a slave to our day. We're a slave. The first thing we do when we wake up is we check our email, we check our social media, what's going on in the world, so we're a slave to our day immediately. How about you create it by design versus by default? So set an intention for today. What do you want today to look like? I want to be productive. I want to be focused. I want to be creative. I want to be open. I want to be present. Whatever it is that your heart desires or you need from yourself today, ask for it. That was one of the biggest messages for me as well, was I don't ask enough. And that was something that I changed, because we don't. We have this whole universe around us that's waiting for us, and we don't ask. So what do you want from your day to day? Who do you need to be? Who do you need to show up as? Set that intention today. And then tonight, after you do your few minutes of silence, of just being throughout the day, tonight, I want you to write down 3 things that you're thankful for, and it could be anything, okay? I mean, it's incredible how hard this practice is to be grateful. You think that you're grateful all the time, but when you actually have to sit down and think, what am I grateful for today? And you might not be able to think of it right away. Number one, that shows you that you might not have been present throughout the day. You might have just been zipping through your day. Number 2, it just might be that, this might be a practice that you want to implement more in your life, and you can do this every night if you want. It's a really great practice, because what it does is, gratitude is the fastest way to like shift your vibration. And we have different vibrations, when we're at our lowest vibration, shame, denial, blame, maybe we're not feeling really good, we're, humiliated, whatever. There's like all these frustration. But if you're feeling unpleasant and you're not feeling good, start thinking of things that you're grateful for. So I want you to write down some 3 things that you're grateful for today, and so intention, grateful, and just some few minutes of silence today, just being with yourself, slowing down, and just giving yourself that moment. You need it, you deserve it, your soul is asking for it. So if you've joined this call, this is for you. All right, so that's it for me today. Day 1 of 21 Days of Spiritual Success. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And join me again tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. I'm also going to be doing 4 a.m. sadhana. So if you would like to try 4 a.m. Kundalini Yoga, it's incredibly powerful, starting your day that way. If you fall asleep, totally okay. That's the beautiful part about it. You're going to be home in your PJs if you want to be. So let me know. I'm going to be doing it live through Periscope, as well as a video conference room. If you'd like to do the video conference room, that way we'll actually have all the documents. I share all the mantras. Just email me, Facebook me, message me, and I'll send you the link. All right. So I'll see you guys at 4 a.m. and I'll see you again tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Sat Nam. Have a beautiful day, everybody.